is here.
It is.
Start of the new week.
It's Tuesday Eve.
No, it does not work like that, Benjamin. It does not work like that. Hello to you. Welcome to the start of the week. Thank you so much for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. We're following a big developing story overnight that we first brought you as breaking news this morning. Police now have a man in custody accused of trying to kill his neighbor. Cece, I know you've been combing through the details of this.
I have. Days of staying outside the man's home led to an overnight standoff that wrapped up just hours ago, so I'm going to take us through that timeline.
Okay, and very much want to get into that, but first, let's get a first look at the weather.
You know, it's going to be a warm start to the week, unseasonably warm already. 65 degrees is our current air temperature right now. Keep in mind our average high is in the lower 50s, and we were about at that temperature earlier this morning. Marshall's already at 70 degrees, but it is gusty in the southwestern part of the state. Sustained winds between 15 and 25 miles per hour. A little less wind on this side of the state around the Twin Cities, but regardless, that south wind is going to help to warm us up well into the 60s. Even low to mid 70s possible today. We are seeing some lazy high clouds overhead. It's ahead of our next weather system, which is going to give us some rain opportunities as we head into the tail end of Tuesday into Tuesday night. The positive news with this is most of the showers will be done by the time the trick-or-treaters head out later on Thursday. Here's a live look outside. We're seeing more of that filtered sunshine, and again, those leaves keep coming off the trees as that breeze will be with us all day today. And your hour-by-hour forecast looks like this. We're in the mid 60s now. We'll be in the 70s by 2 o'clock. Close to record high temperatures both today and tomorrow before the bottom drops out. We'll talk about when seasonal temperatures, actually a crisp start to November, is in your forecast coming up. Alexis?
Ben, thank you. A Minneapolis man is now behind bars after a standoff lasted for hours into this morning. He was charged with attempted murder after shooting his neighbor last week. Cece, I want to know what led up to this tense overnight response.
Yeah, it was a pretty long timeline if we look into this. Police Chief Brian O'Hara says 54-year-old John Sawchuk is, quote, mentally ill, and MPD was waiting for him to leave his home to avoid a high-risk situation. Police say they were on his block for days before he came out this morning, shortly before 1:30, but officers say before he came out, they were ready to put gas in the house. Neighbors tell KARE 11 the operation to arrest Sawchuk actually started around 8:30 p.m. Sunday. That's when dozens of Minneapolis police officers and SWAT team members surrounded the home and called out to him over a loudspeaker, telling him they had a warrant and were there to arrest him. Police told him to come out the back, but he didn't. Our team was on the ground at around 11:30 p.m. when an armored vehicle and a battering ram started breaking out windows in the home. Police Chief Brian O'Hara told us that officers made contact with the man's family multiple times to get information about his mental health issues and talked with the psychiatrist about how they should reach a peaceful resolution.
And as of right now, we have not yet recovered the firearms that we believe are still inside the house. The individual obviously has mental health issues and clearly is a hoarder.
You have an individual with mental illness, likely possessing firearms, with knowledge of explosive devices, and all this happening in a residential area. That is a cocktail that could erupt at any moment.
So Sawchuk was wanted on charges for second-degree attempted murder and first-degree assault for reportedly shooting his next-door neighbor.
So, Cece, do we know how the neighbor's doing at this point?
Well, right now we know he's recovering from a fractured spine, 2 broken ribs, and a concussion. In 30 minutes, we'll hear his thoughts about how the police handled the situation.
Cece, thank you. And I know that we saw and checked that this person had history of threatening the same neighbor and a criminal background. Audrey Russo has more for us.
John Sawchuk is in custody as of early this morning. According to the arrest warrant, Sawchuk did what police say he'd been threatening to do for more than a year: hurt his neighbor, Davis Maturi. Police say Maturi and his wife called police multiple times since September of 2023. The arrest warrant says the couple reported Sawchuk using racial slurs, brandishing weapons, and telling Maturi, quote, "I'm going to kill you if you call the police again." Still, Sawchuk was free for days after the shooting, which happened as Maturi was pruning a tree along his property line. We spoke to Maturi on Friday from his hospital bed before Sawchuk was even arrested. He said the slow police response made him afraid to go back home.
When he pointed guns at me, they didn't care. When I did call, they showed up 6 hours later, if at all. And so I guess I'm put in a position where I can't go back to my house.
At the time of last week's shooting, police say Sawchuk had 3 active warrants. That fact sparked a heated exchange between MPD and Minneapolis City Councilor Andrea Jenkins last week.
We have to take violent criminals off the street. So I'm not a police officer. I don't know how that gets done, but I know it needs to get done.
Sawchuk is now charged with attempted murder, stalking, and assault. Back to you.
And we'll continue to follow this story as it develops, bringing you the latest on air and online at KARE11.com and our streaming platform, KARE11 Plus. Well, today, the family of Madeline Kingsbury is expected to take the stand in the Adam Fravel murder trial in Mankato. Friday, only one witness testified, a special agent with the BCA. They detailed text messages between Fravel and Kingsbury as their relationship was coming to an end. At one point, Fravel's defense team threatened a mistrial over how witnesses were referring to the victim by using her first name and nickname. In about an hour, the driver involved in a deadly multi-vehicle crash in Minneapolis will be in court for the first time. The state patrol says the driver, a 29-year-old man from St. Paul, was driving near 100 miles per hour last week before he hit several vehicles on the I-94 exit ramp. A young woman from Minneapolis died in that crash. 10 others were hurt, including a toddler. The driver was charged with criminal vehicular homicide. Well, 6 hours from now, the Minnesota Department of Health is holding a public hearing. It's meant to address the closure of the Mayo Clinic health system in Fairmont. Those services, including surgery, labor and delivery, and pediatric care, are being relocated to their Mankato campus. The hearing starts at 6 in Fairmont and will also be available on Microsoft Teams. But we do have an update for you on the E. coli outbreak, likely linked to McDonald's. The fast food chain is now putting their quarter pounders back on the menu after ruling out the burger's patties as the source of the illnesses. The outbreak led to at least 1 death and dozens of illnesses. Investigators think another source could be linked to contaminated onions. States that get those onions from a specific farm will be serving the sandwich without them.
It will be over when the science says it's over, when we can conclusively say this is what happened.
The FDA website still says it's uncertain which ingredients made people sick. Well, months after a CrowdStrike outage caused computer problems all around the world, Delta is suing the company. Delta said it had to cancel 7,000 flights over 5 days, costing the airline $500 million. CrowdStrike says Delta's claims are based on misinformation, and the airline is trying to shift blame for its slow recovery.
Well, Election Day is just a week from tomorrow, and many Minnesotans are casting their ballots early. And now the state has expanded its early voting hours and locations to include weekends. Over 1,000 people have already taken advantage of it and cast their ballot at elections and voter services in Minneapolis. The director there says so far over 42,000 people have voted early in the city. Voters say one of the perks is beating the lines and peace of mind that their vote is in.
It's so much more convenient. This way I don't have to worry about it. I'll still be working on Election Day, so I would have had to go in before or after work.
If you'd like to vote early, head over to KARE11.com/vote for a complete guide on everything you need to know about voting in this election, including the hours for your polling place. Well, some people are wondering if it's possible for other people to find out who you voted for if you vote early. Brandon Lewis from our National Verified team looks into the claims.
A study estimates nearly 3 in 4 Americans believe it's possible for someone else to find out who you voted for without your consent. 2 viewers reached out and asked us if that's true. So let's verify using these sources. They all confirm whether you voted is public, but who you voted for is not. All 50 states and DC either have laws or language in their constitution guaranteeing this. What is public is your name, address, party affiliation, and whether you voted in past elections. So no, people cannot see who you voted for. Whether or verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Well, if you're working on your holiday budget, Target is helping you save a little on Thanksgiving. The store announced today it will offer a bundle for $20. It's meant to feed 4 people. It includes a turkey, potatoes, canned green beans, cream of mushroom soup, boxed stuffing mix, and gravy. You can also find separate deals, including mac and cheese, plus apple and pumpkin pies. Other stores, including Aldi and Walmart, have also announced meal bundles. Well, a new coffee shop opened for the first time just hours ago in Anoka, and it's running off a very specific goal. The goal is to employ 5 to 8 people currently experiencing homelessness. They're working with multiple organizations to find people who could benefit from these jobs. The group's founder, Pastor Rob Bergfalk, says that he wants people to know that homelessness is not something only happening in the big cities.
Part of the reason it's important for us is not only to provide sustainability and provide jobs for people, but also to help spread awareness of what's going on.
And a few years ago, the organization started as Compassion Church, gathering resources for people who need them.